Kingvale Insurance, driven by ethics. Kingvale Insurance, you are in good hands. Kingvale Insurance, insure what matters most. Kingvale Insurance.
Hi, welcome to today's show. I'm Peter Masharia from Kingvale Insurance Agencies. And today I'm joined by my client and good friend, Patricia, who does logistics. Patricia, karibu and introduce yourself.
Thank you, Peter. My name is Patricia Mshiri, Director RM Logistics. At RM Logistics, we move cargo by air, by sea, by road, and we also do local and international locations.
So Patricia, from last week's show, we were going to discuss about goods in transit insurance. And I felt, because you're in that business, you're a very good person to have on our show today. So we're going to be discussing about goods in transit insurance. And considering you're an expert in logistics, I'm sure there are some maybe queries you would want answered about goods in transit insurance. So, Karibu, you can ask me anything about goods in transit insurance.
Okay. Thank you, Peter, for having me here.
Yes.
What is goods in transit insurance?
All right.
Yeah.
That's a good question. And ideally, this is a cover that covers goods that are being moved from one place to another. So, imagine you're moving house, for example, and you've hired a mover. So once those goods once your household items leave your house, they are put on that truck. From that point, anything can happen. The truck can have an accident, the goods can get damaged, they can even be stolen. So basically, the goods in transit cover takes care of goods when they're being moved from one place to another. That's the simplest explanation of it. So it could be by road, it could be by air, it could be by sea, ideally. Yes.
You should obtain the goods in transit insurance.
Okay. This cover is for anyone who's moving items from one place to another. So as an individual, you can take it up, or even a company that moves items, say from Mombasa inland, they can take up this cover. A variant of it is the marine insurance, because also that is when you're importing things from outside into the country. But now goods in transit is specifically for, it ideally works locally, but it can also be used internationally. So anyone who's moving items, you're moving house, or there is a delicate package that you would want transported from one place to another, this is an ideal cover for you. Yes.
What is the process of obtaining the goods in transit insurance?
Okay, so the first step is you need to identify that you need to move them from this location to that. So the first step is to get the value of these items. Based on the value, there is a percentage that is charged by the insurance company. So the first step is to talk to us. We give you a quotation. If you're fine with the cost, there is a small form that you fill in, make the payment, and then you get a policy document, or you get a cover note saying that in case something happens to these goods while they're being moved, you're covered. Yes. So it's a very simple process. Not as insurance practitioners, we are trying to move away from paperwork, especially during these times when everything is digital. Yes. So it's a very fast and simple process.
Okay.
Yes.
I will use a customer, for example. A customer comes to our office, and they have cargo sitting in India. And this cargo has to be insured.
Okay.
So at what point should this customer arrange for GIT?
Okay.
Yeah.
So now here we are going to talk about two different products,
Okay.
because at the point of moving it from India to Kenya,
Yes.
that is ideally marine, because
Okay.
it will come by ship.
Yes.
And marine can be extended from India, so it can cover from warehouse to warehouse,
Okay.
meaning that by the time they have paid for the goods and they're being removed from the warehouse of the seller
Mm-hmm.
to the port,
Yes.
they already belong to him. So they can be taken from that point all the way to when they reach his warehouse
Okay.
or her warehouse. That is marine insurance. For goods in transit is now where probably they're sitting in Mombasa and they need to be shipped to Kisumu or further inland. Like I have a client who ships things from Mombasa to South Sudan. So for those ones, they will take up goods in transit insurance, whether it is going by air or by road. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then also something else that you have just raised in terms of marine, the current system is when importing goods, you can only take up insurance locally. Unlike before, where when you're importing something, you do CIF. Now it is cost and freight alone, as we were discussing earlier.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think for us as insurance people, it's a very good move that the government has done, so that we as local insurance providers can be able to benefit from all the business that is being transacted.
Okay. For goods in transit insurance, who
Yes.
should actually take it up? Because
Okay.
in a scenario whereby
Uh-huh.
I am moving house,
Yes.
and so should I be the one taking up the GIT,
Mhm.
or is the moving company the one to take up the
Okay.
cover?
Okay. Now that is where insurance gets a bit gray, because what ideally happens is you as the owner of the goods should insure them. However, if you are using a mover, you need to ensure that they have what is called carrier's liability. It's another type of insurance that is taken up by people who move, whose profession is to move things. And I'm sure, like you, who's in logistics, probably you have partners who, when a client wants to move items, you can take them through that process.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, at RM Logistics, we do have partners,
Mhm.
both locally and internationally,
Okay.
who we work with.
Okay.
And yes, we are able to arrange the whole solution
Okay.
on behalf of our customers.
All right.
Yes.
That's good. So ensuring that the person who's handling the item has that
Yes.
insured. So people who are in logistics who have trucks, ideally they should have carrier's liability, so that when you hand over the goods to them, they are liable for anything that happens to those goods while in their hands. But if you're using your own means of moving them, then it is up to you as the owner of the goods to get goods in transit insurance. Yes, so it's very important. If you're using a mover, make sure they have carrier's liability. But if you're doing it as an individual, you've hired a lorry, or your friend has a lorry, get goods in transit insurance to cover that. And then that has just reminded me, on Twitter the other day, there was somebody whose household items disappeared. They hired a mover and the mover disappeared with their household items. So they have been taken back to zero. But if they had a goods in transit insurance, probably it might have come in to assist them somewhere.
So carrier's liability is something we should
Yes.
request for
Yes.
when we are using a third party.
A third party.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Very, very important.
An interesting scenario
Mhm.
has just come into play.
Mhm.
I'm moving house today,
Yes.
and last time I moved was, say, 5 or 10 years ago.
Yes.
Is it possible to get cover for this particular move?
Yes. Yes.
the one-off move.
This particular cover is very
Yeah.
flexible,
Okay.
and ideally it can be taken up by anyone, whether you're doing one shipment in whatever period or somebody who does frequent movement of items.
Okay.
Yeah, so it can be taken up by anyone who's moving, whether you're moving a one-off or frequent.
And the process would be to prepare an inventory
Yes.
with the value, the market value, or the value of the item
Yes.
after depreciation.
Ideally, yes. So
Okay.
you will have if it is a household list,
Yes.
so a list of all your items and the estimated values.
Okay.
Then if it is cargo that is coming in that's at Mombasa, there is that invoice showing the list of items and their
Yes.
values
Yes.
from the one you got from your supplier. That is what we require.
Okay. Peter, it would be interesting to understand what is not covered in the insurance industry.
Yes.
And what is covered.
Okay. Yeah. So in a nutshell, this type of insurance, the goods in transit, takes care of accidental loss or damage to the goods that are being carried. So it could be from maybe the lorry has an accident and topples over. It could be maybe in the course of moving them, something is damaged. It could also be any kind of accident that will happen. Basically damage to your items. If the truck is stolen and your goods are in there, it will also cover them. It can also be extended to also cover liability, like maybe these goods are being carried and whoever locked the door of the truck didn't lock it properly, so something falls off. Imagine you're driving and a sofa lands on your car, so you see that is liability to now the person whose vehicle is damaged. So it can be extended to cover that. Yeah. So loss, damage, and liability to third parties. Yes.
Anything? Is there anything that is not covered under GIT?
Yeah, there are a lot of things. A lot of things that are not covered, and that is where the policy document and the fine print are important to go through and understand them. In terms of theft, if your goods are in a truck and this truck is left in an unattended place, maybe somebody decides to park it next to a kiosk, they're going to have lunch, and then the items are stolen or the truck is stolen, the insurance will not cover that. Very important. If the packaging, if they are packed in a way that it causes damage to whatever items you're carrying, the insurance will not cover you. If it is proven maybe that the insured in one way or another maybe was negligible in the loss, something happened that involved the person insured that led to the loss happening, something that is negligent, that will not be covered. So those are some of the things. Also wear and tear. So if, for example, let me see, the truck, maybe the truck is poorly maintained and an accident is seen to have been caused because of that, you as the owner, I mean, it's wear and tear. Even wear and tear for your items, that is not covered. And then definitely the usual exclusions, war, terrorism, those are not covered. Then there are certain covers that you need to add some money or talk to your insurance before to have them covered at an extra cost. This will be something like if you're carrying fluids and or liquids and something happens, the truck topples over and they spill out. So spillage, unless it is organized in advance by the insurance company. So those are some of the things not covered, amongst many others. So it's very important to, when taking up this cover, to understand that not everything in terms of damage to those goods is covered. There are specific items that will not be covered, and it's good to understand in advance, because unfortunately with insurance, it's only when a claim has happened that's when you realize, or you're told, hey, by the way, this thing is an exclusion. Yeah, but if you're able to understand it before, then at least you're prepared to know that in case of this, my insurance will not pay. I hope I've answered
You
all
have
your
answered
queries.
it
Okay.
very well.
All right.
Very well. You're now clearer,
Yes.
and we'll be able to guide our customers in the proper way, and enlighten them on the importance of taking up insurance.
All right. So I expect some referrals from you when you get those
Certainly.
clients who are.
Certainly. Thank you very much,
Mhm.
Peter, for clarifying the insurance, the goods in transit insurance.
Thanks for joining us and tuning in. Today we've been talking about goods in transit insurance. See you next week as we talk about marine insurance.